Welcome to The Radiant Life with Tatiana. I am your host, and I'm obsessed with empowering you to live and create the best life possible. I'm a master mindset coach, breathwork facilitator, and a passionate little Latina who loves sharing the magic behind your subconscious mind and energetics. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, learn all about spirituality and manifestation, and to be inspired in making a change to embody your best self, you are in the right place. My goal is for you to see and unlock your limitless potential, to have the tools to break free from the chains holding you back so you can create and live your most radiant life. I am so excited to have you here listening today. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Radiant Life podcast. I'm so excited to be sharing and recording this special episode where I get to share our wedding story in detail, in narrative form, little hiccups that happened along the way, the unexpected, and, how we stayed positive and having faith throughout it all and what the outcomes were, especially for my brides. So much shit can happen on your wedding day. We experienced some of it, and I just want to share the tea with you. Maybe you watched the YouTube vlogs around it, so maybe you already have some ideas. Maybe you didn't. If it's not, go watch them. You can see our wedding story visually come to life. But I know this is an episode that is long awaited. So many of you have been invested and connected with Evan and I, our relationship and our journey. For those of you who didn't know, we went through a public breakup back in 2021, obviously got back together, engaged, went viral on TikTok, and grew a massive, beautiful family. And now here we are, married in love, and we've shared a lot along the way of just what we've learned, what we've healed, what it takes to have a strong, healthy relationship. And so we owe it to you to share our wedding story. And we'll probably have some episodes to come just sharing, the first few months, year of marriage, and what are we learning? Because even though we've been with each other for so long, we're learning a lot still along the way. So, okay, let's dive in. I don't even know where to begin. It was a dream. Let's just say that a dream comes true, but also a little bit of a shit show and a little bit chaotic. But it was still so worth it. So if you didn't know, we did a destination wedding in Mexico at Dreams Playa Mujeres, and that was the best decision ever. We got to spend so much quality time with the people we loved, especially since a lot of our friends and family live back in Massachusetts. We don't get to see them that often. So we got to hang at the pool and dance and do karaoke every day for 3 days. It was the absolute best. And we did have a night before, so instead of doing a rehearsal dinner, we opted into doing a welcome party that I highly recommend if you can do, if it's in your budget, especially if you have somewhat of a destination. This brings people together. We did a talk about love theme. Obviously, we're in Mexico, let's have some Mexican food. And it was out by the pool during sunset under little Christmas lights. It was so dreamy, so romantic. The weather was perfect. And just had a massive taco station, soft music playing, ate, mingled with everyone. And I just loved it. It gave everybody the opportunity to meet, to connect. And I think that's what allowed our wedding to feel more of a family coming together instead of you introducing or getting to know someone at the wedding. You already know and you jive, so you can just dance and hang out. It was just such a big family feel. And Evan and I actually did our speeches at the welcome party, just thanking everybody for coming, honoring our parents. And then we ended our night at the lobby, drinking some cocktails. I think we went to the club after, which was crazy. And so that was the beginning of our actual wedding festivities. And then we woke up and it was our wedding day. I can just picture it playing in my mind. So I actually woke up early, shocker, and pretty emotional. It was excitement and nerves and this surreal moment that the day I get emotion thinking about it. But as a little girl, I don't know about you, but I think you always question and wonder who you're going to marry and when is your wedding day going to be and what is that going to look like. And so to have that moment, it was the moment, it just felt so surreal. I was also a little emotional because I was missing someone that it still sometimes doesn't hit me that wasn't there. I lost my uncle a month before exactly. And he was just such a prominent male figure. Hold on. He was the mix of a father and a brother. I guess that's what uncles are, right? Just somebody who's meant so much to me. And so to lose him so close to our wedding day, someone that I could have never imagined not being there, just crushed me. And so I woke up obviously very emotional, still around that, still my grieving journey, but it just still broke my heart. And then also it was emotional because I was just so grateful. I was so like excited and grateful that like we made it. We made it this far, because a few years back, I didn't even know like what life was going to look like if I was going to get married. Whenever I got back together, like would he even take me back? And if we did, like were we going to make it? So it was just this beautiful mix of emotions, gratitude, and all of it. And so I decided to wake up early. Here, brides, I would recommend that. Just have a few moments of quiet and peace to yourself. I did a little lymphatic drainage. I drank some tea on the porch because I barely had a voice from karaoke the night or two before. And I just spent quiet time with myself and honestly with God. I was praying. I was thanking him. I was listening to worship music. And I had this song come on that was the song that got me through our breakup. It's called Lord Send Revival, which every time I hear it, it's like a confirmation. God wink, he's with me. I get so emotional. And I was just honoring him, because there was moments where I used to be in my apartment crying, hands in the air, on my knees, like, whoa. What is life? Like I'm heartbroken. I'm going through this breakup. Are we even going to get back together and make it? And then now I'm like listening to the same song, sitting on the balcony on the day of our wedding. It was such a beautiful moment. And then Evan came out when that was happening and hugged me, and it just felt like a full circle moment. And yeah, I really recommend just taking some time with you and your partner. We did sleep in the same room the night before the wedding. I know, we broke tradition, but it just felt right. And it was one of the best things that we did, to just have morning tea together and moments just to ourselves. Maybe you don't sleep in the same room, but maybe you just have like a morning breakfast together. I don't know. I really appreciated it. It calmed my nerves. And we just, we prayed to God and we prayed for his presence. We prayed for my uncle to show up and have his presence there. And I said something along the lines like, God, show me your magic, or show me what you got. Show me that I know that you're here. Like something like that. And boy, when I prayed those words, I didn't mean for it to happen the way it did. That's why you always got to ask what you pray for and how you pray it. So whatever, I said that prayer, fast forward, Evan leaves. The girls come over to start getting ready. I was hyped. We have this bomb playlist. I was just so excited to be around my girls. As I started getting my hair done, I could just like feel shivers in my bones. Like something was coming. And then I like felt the room get dark because I couldn't see out the window. And then I realized it's raining out right now and there are some dark clouds out. And I just knew it. And my spirit felt crushed. Like I think every bride prays to have perfect weather on their wedding day, especially if your wedding is supposed to be outside. And I think especially if you are having a destination wedding and have all your people come to Mexico for you, the last thing you want to do is have it rain on your wedding day. And especially because the weather was literally perfect the days leading up to it. So my spirit felt crushed. My best friend Olivia was like, don't look outside right now. And I was like, well, girl, that's like the last thing you got to tell someone. Like, I already know. Like, I could feel the emotions, like nerves and frustration coming up. And from that moment on, I was like silent and I was pretty quiet and I was in my head. I was just praying. I was talking to God. I was telling myself to breathe and to trust. And, it's going to happen the way it happened. You can't control the weather. God's got a plan. I was just in the zone of, I don't know, I just like went introvertedly. We had some of the groomsmen come drop off coffee. Barely, don't even remember that. Only know that because of video footage. And they were like, Tati, I didn't even want to like say anything to you because you were just so in the zone. Like you were just so stone face. My mother-in-law came in drenched
like drenched from head to toe. And I was like, this is not what I want to see right now. Like it wasn't a drizzle at this point. It was downpouring. And I had to take a moment to breathe and take a pee break because I just needed space. I just could feel everybody looking at me and like feeling bad and like, oh no, what's going to happen? Like, you just sense that energy. So I went into the stall, I cried it out a little bit, and I just prayed. And I said, God, like whatever your will is, like let it be done. And I just pray that this clears up. And I just pray that my vision gets executed. But I really had no hope. My photographer then came in and was like, we need to like talk about some backup plans for photos and everything. She's like, I have some ideas. So we talked about that. And I just want to preface here, like this is why having especially a photographer and a wedding planner who's on your, like, just make sure you interview your people, make sure they're professional, that they're on your side, that they get your vision, that they're going to support you, because things come up on your wedding day, fears, emotions, decisions that you didn't even know you had to make. And then like you need people to support you. And of course you have your friends and your family, but sometimes you need people that are like emotionally detached and that can help you make rational, logical decisions. My photographer was the best decision we had ever made. Her name is Kirsten, and it's Kirsten Ashley Photography. I will make sure I put her information in the show notes because we flew her out from Texas. She does weddings all over. Just not only her delivery of pictures were amazing, but she was like my rock during that day, during decisions, during my nerves, during my emotions. Like she was my person because I knew all of my girls and my family and friends, their hearts were breaking that it was raining, and they were, stay positive, it'll be okay. But like no one wants to hear that, right? Oh, and it's good luck when it rains on your wedding day. I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't know, but I think that they just say that just so that you make the bride feel better, but it doesn't make the bride feel better. So she was amazing. So I just have to say that it's important to really scout out your vendors and interview them and make the right decision with who will show up best for you. And so she was professional. She had this radar, and like the rain just wasn't stopping at that moment. And the worst part was we had to make a decision at noon whether or not we were going to keep the wedding outside or not. And if we did choose to keep it outside and it did continue to rain throughout the night, we had to pay like over a $3,000 fine because of equipment being ruined and for them having to set up another time inside of the, what do you call it? Plan B location, which is like just an indoor location that I had never even looked at Knew it was there, didn't even know what it would look like. So that's where the nerves really were coming in. So as I'm getting my hair and makeup finished, we're just watching the radar. Well, my photographer was, because I just couldn't do it. And she truly was amazing. And she was like, okay, I'm going to keep it real and honest with you. When I woke up this morning, it's at 100%. And I was like, shit. She's like, now it went down to 70. Now it's saying like 40. And Mexico's just like Florida. You can't rely on the weather. You can't rely on the radar fully. My best friend Ben, I guess, said like all of the people, all my guests, I refused to look at the weather app leading up to our wedding. It just wasn't worth my nerves, especially living in Florida. Anything can change. And everybody was like, it literally said rain all 4 days we were all going to be there. And it didn't rain the days before the days before the wedding. So things can change. So whatever. Then eventually the radar changed to like 30%. And then it said it would clear up at 1. And I was like, okay. I talked to Evan, I texted him, and we decided to take the risk and to keep it outside. And you know what? If we pay the fine, we pay the fine. But like, what if it clears up and whatever? So we took the risk. As I'm signing the waiver, which mind you, I don't know why the bride is doing this versus the groom. Like I have so much nerves, so much going on. As I'm signing this, I'm looking out the window and it is raining out. And I remember looking at my people around me and I'm like, am I crazy? Like, is this ballsy? Like, yeah, but whatever, we did it. So I had to do my first look with my girls in a different location. Right, it was actually at the front of our door from our room because, again, it was raining. Got locked out. We locked ourselves out of our room for 15 minutes because we forgot we were in a hotel and no one had the room key. So that took us some time, took us some stress to find a maintenance guy to lock us in. Oh, because on top of that, we were locked out with no one had cell phones because we were doing a first look. So my photographer was like, no cell phones. Like, you're not going to have them in your hand. That was a shit show. Still raining out at this point. Still dark, gray, gloomy out. I had to do my first look with my dad on the balcony of our room. And I was like, we're doing it in the rain. Like, I don't care. There was some, like, it wasn't downpouring at this time, but it was like drizzling for sure. It was definitely wet. I didn't care. I needed, like, I'm not doing that inside. Had to do our first look with Evan in the front lobby again because of the rain. And that was really upsetting because, I mean, it's a front lobby. It wasn't super packed with people, but it wasn't private. And I definitely don't feel like we got the first look I had always dreamed of because of that. But throughout this process, like I just was like kind of quiet. You could feel my energy, and I was just trying to stay positive and reminding myself like it just is what it is. And what is today about? It's about marrying the love of my life. And I was just doing my best to put a smile on my face and to make the most of it. 1 o'clock comes around, right? The rain hasn't stopped. Then 2 o'clock, then 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, and it was still raining. Granted, it wasn't like a full downpour where we were getting drenched, but it was raining enough where there was little puddles and drizzles. So we had to move all of our family photos, bridal party, to just new locations. You can see the drizzles in the photos, especially of the groomsmen, which I kind of like. I don't hate, but it definitely played a role in coordination. And then it was time for the ceremony. And I was walking in my room. It was still drizzling out. My guests told me the next day that even as they were sitting down to the ceremony, they would feel the drizzles. We had umbrellas stacked on the chairs just in case. And I was like, it just is what it is. Like, at least the ceremony is still going to be outside. And if it rains, it freaking rains. Like, what am I going to do about it? And then I kid you not, the moment the ceremony started, the music, like I just remember seeing it from like a private spot in the back and seeing Evan walk down. The clouds started to clear up. Our ceremony was at 5 or 5:30. When I got to the altar, it just kept clearing up. When I got to the altar to Evan, 3 doves landed on top of the gazebo that we had. And everybody asked me, like, did we release those? No, those were just random 3 white doves that, long story short, you could find so many different meanings to them, right? Like, the dove is a symbol of God and the Holy Spirit. For me, my uncle was a bird lover, and I loved it. When Evan and I got back together, we had this really deep conversation, and 2 doves landed on my apartment porch that day and stayed there for 2 or 3 hours. I have pictures of them, and like you can see the time slots. I still have them. I found it because I was like, what? That's so crazy. Now there's 3 doves. And then my family's like, those were your 2 grandparents and your uncle that couldn't be here. Like, there's just so many beautiful meanings and whatever. You can make meaning of anything. But like, well, I just remember looking up and seeing those, and it was just like a beautiful, like, I don't know. It just felt special to me. And then the ceremony, like the weather was clear. As we started saying our vows, the sun started beaming on us like we were in a movie. Like, everybody was just astonished at like how like movie-like it looked and felt. And then the most magical sunset came over us at the end. I just like felt so grateful. It was so relieving. And I just knew in that moment, I was like, God's got us. Like, he's blessing us. He's blessing this marriage. My uncle's here. Like, they're just painting. Every time I see a sunset, I always think of like God's, artistry. It's so beautiful. And I kind of chuckled and laughed. And I was like, well, when I asked God to show me his magic, I wasn't asking for him to pray. I mean, for it to rain, for then to him show his sunset magic, that he has like the beautiful power to making it clear up. Like, could have, been a little bit less stressful, but it was okay. It happened perfectly. Having the gloomy, rainy, drizzle weather made it not hot as balls. So we weren't necessarily sweating as much as we could have been in wedding attire. So trying to find positives here. And so that was a ceremony. We actually we didn't do a cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres. I just feel like every time I go to a wedding, I get so full in that and I don't even eat dinner. And I just knew, since it was on the beach, everybody was going to be taking pictures anyways, which they did. So instead we had like a margarita station lined up, and everybody just took their golden hour sunset photos while Evan and I did our private photos. It was only like a 40-minute time slot anyways. And then we started the reception, and it was just all of my dreams came true. Like the setup, the decor, the music, the weather. There was no rain. There was a soft breeze, which was great because, dancing outside in Mexico can get a little toasty. The grass was a little wet and made the dance floor a little slippery. I will say that, but it was okay, right? Like it was just amazing. We had a water drum show that was interactive for the guests. They loved it. And we danced our butts off all night. It was a crazy reception. If I had to explain the reception, it was my crazy friends met my crazy family. And let's just say a ton of tequila was involved. A ton. Like people were all drinking from the bottle of tequila on the dance floor. Like when I say everybody, I'm saying my friends to my parents to my aunts and all, like wild. But yeah, we spent the night dancing. I had a reception dress and we ended the night with sparklers. And it was just a true testament of trusting God's plan, letting go of control and making the most of it, because you really can't control weather. And I could have chosen to, be grumpy and in a bad mood and like pout. And like a part of you wants to, right? Like you've just spent a whole year planning this. But at the same time, I had to keep remembering like, it is what it is and it's meant to be this way. How can I find good in this and remind myself what it's all about, which was marrying the love of my life, being around my friends and family. And it was just the best day ever. I will never complain or wish anything differently. It was the best time. We ended it at the club, just the best weekend, the best wedding. And that's everything. Evan and I came back to the room after, and if I could recommend this to any couple, we ordered room service and we swam because we had a private pool. Oh, the best thing is to come home. We ate on our wedding night, but I didn't eat that much. Came home and I stuffed my face with burgers and fries, and I think he had quesadilla. It was the best thing. It was the best way to end the wedding night. It was so good. But yeah, it was just the best day ever. So that's the whole inside detailed narrative explanation of our wedding story. If you want to see it come to life, I really recommend you do. It just feels so special. I have vlogs on my YouTube channel that I will link below. We have the wedding weekend, which includes the welcome party in the days before. And then we just have our wedding vlog, which my camera just got passed around and you get to just really see. And then eventually we have the video, but we're waiting for some music type of changes for copyright purposes. I will be posting hopefully our professional wedding video because it's amazing. They did such a good job. And that way you can just see it come to life. So there's our wedding story. Thank you guys for being here, coming along our relationship journey and continuing to follow us and be with us as we continue to grow and evolve as a couple, as husband and wife, and hopefully as we grow our family in the future. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. And I will see you in the next episode. I hope you have the most radiant day ever.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it with me and write an Apple iTunes review so I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me, you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto. Make sure to tag me in any posts that you share. I love and appreciate you so much and cannot wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out and radiate your light into the world.